Nick, why did you do that? I don't know. You know better. Yes, I know. So why didn't you do that? Sounds familiar, that story? Well, I think everyone can recall to that story. We have that gap between the things that we know that we should do and the things that we actually do. How can we close that gap? Because it's that gap that is keeping us away from our dreams. That's keeping us away from achieving every goal of any goal that you would like to attain. Because there is something that is, there is our actual results. We know what we should do, but then along the way, we just don't do it. And we every time you start with the same good energy, with the good intentions, and you start with a new on a new blank sheet, and you start again, and after a while it's fading away back to the same old habits. How does it come? How can we close that gap so that you now, for once and for all, that you can achieve the goals that you really want? And how that you, and it's only the matter of understanding and understanding how that your mind functions that you can close that gap. So let's dive in it. And in the end of the video, you will understand with these three words which are behind me. And the third one is the most important one to understand. If you understand those, you can put them into practice. And once you put them into practice, you will see that you will achieve and that you will be successful. And success, you know, guys, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So it is a progressive thing towards a worthy ideal. An ideal is an idea you fall in love with. So what is the idea you fall in love with? What would you really like to achieve in your life? What would you really like to achieve for your family, for your friends, for your maybe for your parents? What is the thing that you really like to achieve? What idea would you like to trade your life for? That's a big question. But it's a big question that needs an answer, because if you don't answer that question, what you willing to trade your life for, you will never be motivated. You will always give up, and you will never have that really that sense of accomplishment. So let's dive into it. The first thing is GRISPs. And crisps are all those emotional things that we hold back on, that like they are really into the need for validation, the fear that we are not good enough. So instead of living from the inside out, we are living from the outside in. We let the outside control how we feel at the inside. And as long as you don't get grip on that, if you you are able to reverse that and be able to live from the inside and being really convinced that everything what you need is inside you, and that now you can express it to the outside, you will always be in the grip of those fears. And those grips, they will open and they will widen that gap between what you really want and the success that you really dream of. And that's not what you were meant to be here. You really are here to achieve something. You are a part of creation. So your duty is to create, to solve problems. So understand that you have to dig into that idea of grips. And one of the chapters of Think and Grow Rich, the last chapter, there Napoleon Hill challenges to answer a lot of questions concerning those internal fears. Are we really searching for the external validation? Is it the outside that will validate our inside? Is it the outside that will make our feeling going to the positive side or to the negative side? Yeah, sometimes I have to search for my words in English, but that's what it is. External validation get us in a certain grip. So convince yourself that you don't need that external validation. And one of the main, one of the easiest way to get rid of that external validation is to keep your goal inside. Too many people, too many students, they are bragging about the goals, the things that they will do, the things they are continuously, they are communicating over the things that they will achieve. But don't but as soon as you achieve or you exclamate what your goal or where you are heading to, people will criticize you. People will have an opinion on you. So if you have a goal, keep it inside. And as long as you keep it inside, no one can judge you because no one knows where you're going. So if you have like a trouble with those external validation fears that are keeping you small, well, keep your goal inside. Start to study yourself and start to live from the inside out instead of from the outside in. Secondly, is assumptions. Assumptions are the collection of beliefs about the world around us. What do you believe about money? What do you believe about time? What do you believe about love? What do you believe? All those little things, those beliefs, they will create assumptions. And if you have those assumptions, they will influence your expectations. Because if you don't believe in something, you can't expect something. And if you don't have an expectation, if you are not expecting the good outcome, if you are not expecting success, where is your motivation? If you observe a cat, and a cat is like sitting in front of a mouse hole and is just sitting there waiting for the mouse to come out, well, the reason that the cat sits there in full focus and full concentration, because the cat expects, internally is programmed to expect that the mouse eventually will come out. So if you don't expect the good outcome, if you don't believe in the good outcome of your endeavors, well, then you will give up and you will create that gap that will wider again. So if you change your beliefs and you change your expectations, you change your assumptions, the gap will close. And the closer the gap gets, the closer you get to your goal. So go inside, ask yourself, what do I think about money? What do I think about health? What do I think about friendships? What do I think about success? Well, those things, if they don't serve your goal, you need to change them. You have to change those rules. And the last thing, the third one, and maybe one of the most important ones, is to close the gap. And if you don't understand them and you don't work on them, you will never close the gap. You will turn in circles. You will have a little bit of success and you will come back to the old results. You have a little bit of success, you will come back to the old results. The last part, the third part of to close the gap is understanding your paradigms. And paradigms are a cluster of beliefs that are embedded, that are programmed in your subconscious mind. Now, you have to understand your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the mind that just accepts, it doesn't reject, it just accepts and it will execute everything which is accepted by the subconscious mind. So it's our automated thinking. It is our programmed thinking. And that programmed thinking that has been programmed during our life, from our birth, from our inherited DNA, then our parents, then our environment, then you have your friends, you have your teachers. Everything what is repeatedly brought to you, you will accept till a certain age. And by the age of 6-7 years old, you are already quite well programmed. All those little beliefs that you have been fed, they will already give you direction for the rest of your life. Now, when you are an adult, you still have the possibility to understand what are your paradigms. Why do you think the things that you think? And if you start to understand those paradigms and you start to understand those embedded beliefs, Now you can change them. Because do you change them? Well, you can, and if you understand your paradigms, you can bring them in line with the goal that you want to achieve. And one of the most important things to understand about change your paradigms is that now you are operating with a certain logic, your subconscious mind. That's your logic. You get out of your bed in the morning in a certain way. You drink your cup of coffee or tea in a certain way. You put on your clothes in a certain way. Those are habits which seems to be very logic. If you answer the phone, you do that in a certain way. When you speak to a client, you do that in a certain way. Those are things which are very logic. But if those logics are not bringing you the success that you want, you will have to change those logics. You will have to do something which is very unlogical for you. And maybe it's very logical for someone who has achieved already the success that you want. For them it's logic. They will do the things in a certain way because that's their logic. And their logic is corresponding with a certain success, with a certain achievement. So if you're not willing to understand that if you want to achieve something, if you want to progress in life, you will have to be very unlogical. But really very unlogical, in small steps. That doesn't mean that you have to do silly things. That doesn't mean that you have to do stupid things. But you will have to changing little actions, but also thinking patterns that now seem very unlogical for you. And it's only by changing those, and over time, they will become logic for you. And if they become logic, the paradigm is changed, and then your behavior will change, and then the success will change. I hope this makes sense. So first things is grips, then assumptions, and then change your paradigms. If you can change those three, if you can really becoming aware of those and change them, you will close the gap and you will get very fast from where you are now to the place you want to be. It goes with quantum leaps if you understand how to do it. If you like this information, we have a Skool community, and there we teach every day. Every day we have a book study, we're thinking to results, we have Q&As, and in the community, you're more than welcome, and there we teach the things that you need to know to close audit, to understand your mind. And if you want to scan the code, it's there, somewhere there, yeah. You can scan the code, or you find it in the description of this video, and we'll see you in the inside of our community. Enjoy the videos, and see you at the next.